Welcome. Today, we're going to dive into one of the most powerful and, let's be honest, confusing symbols in the world. We're talking about the cross. How did an ancient instrument of torture become a global symbol of triumph? Let's unpack that.
Okay, so let's just get right to it. Why is this horrifying device, an instrument of state-sanctioned torture, the central logo for a global religion? It's a really good question. Now, the framework for our explainer today comes from a homily given to college students for the Feast of the Exultation of the Cross. And in it, the priest makes this argument that to find the answer, you can't just glance at the symbol. You have to learn to look right through it.
So, to really understand the symbol, we first have to confront the unfiltered, brutal reality of what crucifixion actually was. No looking away, no sanitizing it. We gotta face it head on.
You know, this wasn't some quick and painless thing. We're talking about a form of public terror that was perfected over centuries. The Romans, especially, turned it into a dark science. They basically engineered it to prolong the pain and maximize the suffering and public humiliation. It was designed to be as torturous as humanly possible.
And that suffering was designed to last. A person could hang on a cross for anywhere from 6 hours to, and this is just agonizing to even think about, up to 4 days before they finally died. 4 days.
The medical reality of it is, well, it's just staggering. Victims would already be brutalized from being scourged. Then, once they were on the cross, they'd face constant blood loss, dehydration, and shock. But the real torture, the primary cause of death, was slow suffocation. To get a single breath, you'd have to push your entire body weight up on the nails in your feet. It's just horrific.
And you know, this quote really hits home, because that visceral, awful reality is such a stark contrast to how we often see the cross today, right? As like a polished piece of jewelry. It really shows how we tend to disconnect from the bloody awfulness of what the symbol originally meant.
So the paradox just gets deeper. If the cross represents that level of horror, how on earth did it ever become a source of hope? Well, the answer seems to lie in a really fundamental shift in perspective. It's the difference between just looking at the cross and learning to gaze into it.
And this is the absolute turning point. I mean, think about it. If all you saw was the cruelty and the injustice, your logical reaction would be fear, maybe a desire for revenge. And that's exactly what the Romans wanted. Crucifixion was designed to crush people's spirits and silence them, not to inspire a global movement.
This chart really highlights those two different ways of seeing. When you're just looking at the cross, yeah, you see humanity at its absolute worst: cruelty, injustice, despair, and ending. But if you gaze into it from a theological perspective, you're looking through that horror to find something totally different on the other side: God's love, mercy, forgiveness, and hope, a new beginning.
This brings us to this core theological idea called salvific mercy. And it is a massive paradox. It's this idea that the very instrument that shows our guilt and condemnation gets completely transformed into the ultimate symbol of a saving mercy that's offered to overcome that exact same guilt.
So because of that, it's not seen as a wall of despair, but as a bridge. Theologically, it's the very thing that spans this huge chasm that sin supposedly created, reconnecting humanity with God.
Okay, so let's dig into how this shift in perspective actually actively transforms the cross into this incredibly powerful symbol of hope.
By gazing into the cross, a believer is meant to see way beyond just the suffering. They're supposed to see the virtues it represents. So you see here, it becomes a revelation of unconditional love, a promise of salvation, and even a model for an authentic life that's rooted in things like humility and obedience.
And look, this isn't supposed to be some passive idea you just think about. It's presented as an active, direct call to repent and believe. It's a call for a total personal transformation, for a person to fundamentally change the way they live their life.
And that kind of deep, personal transformation, well, it isn't meant to be kept private. It's supposed to lead you directly to a mission out in the world.
So, the homily introduces this concept of a missionary disciple. And the core idea is pretty simple. Your belief and your actions can't be separated. The mission isn't something you do, it becomes a part of who you are. The disciple and the missionary become the same person.
So what does that journey look like? Well, it seems to follow these 4 key steps. It all starts internally, by acknowledging your own faults and then experiencing that love and mercy we talked about. This leads to a commitment, a decision to follow a new path. And finally, that change compels you to go out and share that message with other people.
But let's be clear. This mission is understood to be anything but easy. The biblical warning is pretty stark. Behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. I mean, that does not sound like a walk in the park, does it? It's a path that clearly requires incredible courage in a world that can be hostile to the message.
And ultimately, this path demands some profound personal sacrifice. It means trading in your anger for love, trading your personal comfort for the sake of justice, and even being willing to give up your reputation for the sake of truth.
And so this entire incredible journey, from an instrument of state terror all the way to a symbol of divine love and a call to go out on a mission, it leaves us with this final really profound question. And it's one that extends way beyond any single faith and speaks to a universal human experience. Where can meaning be found in suffering?